This is a really nice apple peeler from Pampered Chef that works really well, makes this recipe go very fast. After you have peeled all the apples that you want, then we want to core them. So we just put this on here, down, throw away the core, and you just get those in there. All the apples have been peeled, sliced, and now cored. We have 4 cups for our apple pie. Now we're going to remove any of the skin that's left on, and we need to take off the little bit of core that was left on there so you don't have any little hard chunks in your Applicious pie. This is for the pie filling, and we're going to use a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 1/2 tablespoons of flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So first we're just going to mix them in the bowl. The sugar, the flour, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, and just mix them up a little bit. And then we're just going to pour this into the apples that were already cut and sliced in there. And then we're just going to coat all of the apples with that. And that is going to go into the pie filling after we get it done. I like to get them covered first with the flour mixture and sugar so that they don't turn brown. Okay. We're going to now do the crust, which is a wonderful crust because it's all flaky. It turns out flaky immediately. You don't, if you have problems rolling out a crust, this will work perfect. So what we start with is 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon salt, a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and 1 1/2 tablespoons of milk. So we're first going to start with the flour. And you just want to mix it, put it all in there. The oil and the milk. And then we just want to mix it together. Just as real wet consistency. Okay, now we'll get our pie plate and we'll put it in there. This crust is so much different from the crust at the grocery store because it's so soft and flaky. The consistency will just be, it'll just be fantastic in your pie. Now we want to place our ingredients in the pie plate and start mushing it down to meet the curvature of the pan. I'm just pushing this down and bringing it up on the sides, and my thumb is kind of pushing down on that to create a little lip right there, and making sure that there aren't any little holes in the bottom there. Next we're going to make the topping for the Applicious pie, and we're going to start with softened sweet cream butter. We need a 1/2 stick, a 1/2 cup of flour, and a 1/2 cup of sugar. So we place this in the container, and the sugar and the flour. And you need one of these pastry cutters to get it in there because you want it to be real crumbly. You don't want it to stick together at all because it just goes placed right on top of the apples, all crumbly. Kind of get it back down in there. And you just keep doing that until you get it all incorporated. See, it's turning into little tiny flakes there. If you do that with a fork, it ends up being just a big glob and it won't sprinkle on top of the pie. Okay, that looks really good. Just like that. Now we're going to put the apples in the pie crust. And I'll mix it up a little bit. Set them in there. Try and get them on so they're on the edges in every place. Already smells really good. And now we want to take the topping, and it's all crumbly, so you just want to just start crumbling it all over the top. Try and get it on the edges too. Doesn't that look good already? I went to Safeway and I got my brown paper bag. Now I'm going to place my pie in the bag. You just stick it in there. And you want to crumple the top here just a little bit so that it stays closed. And I usually take the stapler and put just one little staple in it to help it stay closed. And then we'll put that in the oven. Make sure that when you have it in the oven, it's on, the rack is on the bottom, almost on the bottom rack there. It's because it's hard to have room. You need room in there for the bag. It has to be a 350-degree oven. You just place it in there. Make sure you hang on to the bottom of it. Close the door, and it needs to cook for an hour and a half. Do not peek because it's going to be a very plump and succulent pie. See you in about an hour and a half. In the magic of movies, the pie is now done. Let's get it out of the oven. Remember, you have to hang on to the bottom of it. It's going to be heavy. Put it on a rack. You have to get it out of the bag. So I open it up. It could get kind of mushy if you left it in there. Now I hope you didn't peek at this. This is the first time we get to see it. Yum. See it all bubbly and yummy. Okay. Make sure you grab a hold of it with the pie. Well, this was a clean pie. I didn't get any on the inside. Most of the time it catches the dribble over from the pie, but we didn't get any this time. So there's your beautiful Appalicious pie. It sure smells good. Keep it on the rack and let it cool, and then enjoy with some vanilla ice cream.